Do you agree with government using the notwithstanding clause to change crime and punishment laws?
No, I find it's a bit scary. I'm not really in agreement with that. I think need to be a lot more study behind this and really understanding what we're getting into. Yeah, I would not be comfortable with that. No, not at all.
I think if everybody uses the notwithstanding clause, what's the point of having a federation of provinces, right? It's the same situation where if everything applies to everybody but it doesn't apply to me, you're kind of exhibiting the height of hubris by removing yourself from the common good and the common application. You have to measure at what point are you inclusive or excluding yourself from the table.
No, I don't. I think that our laws are good as they stand. I don't think we want to slip back into American-style lawmaking and the whims of one politician riding over the will of the people. So I think we have a pretty good system as it is today.
As a general rule, I'm not a fan of necessarily of like notwithstanding clauses because it speaks of like overreach or just authoritarianism.
Well, you shouldn't be able to overpass other people's jurisdictions who've already made a ruling. They've had the job, they've had the education, they know the system. One person shouldn't be able to override that.
I don't believe in the notwithstanding clause for anything. The only time we have seen it used is to violate someone's rights and to modify the charter, which is why it was put there. And it was put there so that we could get another minority in the Quebec government to in fact sign on. And I think it has now been abused since that time, and it's the Quebec government that's probably used it the most to abuse the human rights of people in their province. And I think that if you look at what Polyev is talking about, it's the same thing. We're going to use it to take away somebody's rights.
If they do that, then what's stopping them from changing other laws? As I've read in the paper, as I've seen, everybody calls it a slippery slope. And I definitely agree with that. Too much power corrupts. So if we let this one slide, all of a sudden, notwithstanding clauses are going to be used like Band-Aids.
I'm going to say no, because if they want to truly change laws and create a better society, they should go through the proper channels, get through the House of Commons and the Senate to build that reform. By using this notwithstanding clause, it's just a slippery slope to dictatorship.
I think that's taking things too far for sure, especially if it involves bypassing the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. That's what our country's built on. Once you start messing with that, then you start to get into a whole world of trouble.
And that we have a Charter of Rights and Freedoms for a reason, and we're all entitled to those. And when those are able to be infringed based on, a politician's personal opinion or views, that's only setting up a recipe for disaster and more issues like that. I mean, we see it in the United States with people revoking abortion laws. And I think that will be the next step that comes from it.
That's a tough one because I'm a big believer in civil rights for everybody, right? So when it's been invoked in the past, it's impeded people's civil rights. And I don't think that's a right thing. So without some kind of review or debate over it, and making it unilateral, I have a problem with that.
I think we need the checks and balances, and I think that that's a cornerstone of our democracy and citizenship and having people involved in how and when laws are going to be enforced and to whom.
Well, you have to take it in context. If Pierre is doing criminal justice reforms, I think that is just that part of it. I think is based on the fact that right now, I could go rob a bank and be out of court tomorrow. I'm in jail overnight. So I think what he's doing is he's taking the best parts of it and applying it to a problem, is what he's doing. The Liberals, on the other hand, would obviously use it to their own benefit and just change laws that suit their needs. So there's a difference between using laws and changes to laws for common sense and achieving an agenda. And I think that's what's happening with it. And I have to do a little more research into that because I only just heard about that last week.